Welcome to the year 2099, a potential future of the Marvel Universe. In this possible future, the world has been turned into a cyberpunk dystopia. Mega corporations rule the world, and most of the famous heroes and villains of the modern era are long gone. In their place, new heroes and villains have taken up their mantles. Even the infamous anti-hero Deadpool has been replaced in the year 2099. In fact, multiple individuals have risen to stake their claim on the title of Deadpool. That's right, there's an all-out futuristic battle for the name of Deadpool. This conflict is going to be the main focus of our video today. We're going to be explaining everything there is to know about Deadpool 2099. The identities and origins of these new figures that want to be the new Deadpool, their crazy new powers and gadgets that they're bringing to the fight, and we'll be going over what happened to the original Merc with the Mouth, Wade Wilson. The future of 2099 is dark and gritty, but plot armor will be your guide through it all. We've got a lot to get through, so let's jump right in. This is everything you need to know about Deadpool 2099. Wade Wilson. Before we start this story, we've got to talk about the man that started it all, the original Deadpool, Wade Wilson. In our current timeline, Deadpool is a notorious mercenary that was experimented on in the Weapon X program. These experiments gave him an incredible healing factor that not only halted the growth of the numerous inoperable cancers in his body, but also made it so he could heal from nearly any level of damage. The Weapon X program turned Wade from a dying soldier of fortune to a nearly immortal walking tumor with a habit of never shutting up. Once he took on the name Deadpool, Wade went out on countless adventures with the likes of the Avengers and the X-Men. He had numerous love affairs that all seemed to end in tragedy and heartbreak. One of these romances was his marriage to the queen of the underworld, Shiklah. Eventually, Shiklah left Deadpool and decided to marry Dracula instead. Later on, she would attempt to take over the surface world with an army of monsters. With the help of the Avengers, the Guardians of the Galaxy, and a group called the Fantastic 54, Wade was able to defeat his ex-wife and her monstrous army. Deadpool then sealed her in a sarcophagus that kept her trapped in a stasis for decades. Deadpool's life was a constant roller coaster of ups and downs, but that's all changed now in the year 2099. In this dystopian future, Wade is an elderly old man who can't remember most of the events of his life. His insane healing factor is likely the only reason he even survived to the year 2099. In his weakened state, Wade has been captured and imprisoned by a new Deadpool. This new Deadpool is Warda Wilson, the daughter of Shiklah and Wade. She has tracked down her biological father to demand the location of her mother's sarcophagus so they could be reunited. Wade's faulty memory has caused him to genuinely forget the secret location of the coffin. Warda has decided to torture the information out of Wade by forcing him to watch C-SPAN for decades. This is the current state of the once fearsome Wade Wilson, a dirty old man chained to a recliner that can't remember the one thing that might win him his freedom. At least until another Deadpool shows up and changes everything. But we'll get to that later. For now, let's learn more about Warda. We've got plenty more Deadpool 2099 to cover, but before that, be sure to subscribe to the channel with notifications on to never miss an upload, and smash that like button for some plot armor today. Warda Wilson. After Shiklah broke up with Wade, she hid the fact that she was pregnant with his child. Unbeknownst to Wade, Warda inherited a lot of physical characteristics from her father. Her face and body are covered in scars just like Wade's. She also inherited Wade's healing factor, allowing her to regenerate from almost any injury. Warda was raised in secret by her mother, but the two were separated when Wade sealed Shiklah away. In an attempt to free her mother and get revenge on her father, Warda donned a high-tech version of the Deadpool suit and kidnapped Wade. Warda's relationship with her father is tense to say the least. She blames him for a lot of the misfortune in her life and despises him for what he did to her mother. The animosity between the two of them is mutually felt, though. Both Warda and Wade reject each other as family. Outside of her grudge against her father, Warda operates as the new Deadpool of 2099. With her futuristic suit, she causes chaos across the city of New York and gets into explosive battles with the police. In addition to being one of the most wanted criminals in New York, Warda also controls her own gang called the Bobs. The Bobs have a fierce loyalty to Warda, despite her sometimes abusive leading style. They're Warda's personal squad of goons that are always willing to do what she wants. Although Warda shares a lot of physical traits with her father, she gets most of her personality from her mother. Just like Shikla, Warda has little respect for human life. When Wade refused to give up the location of her mother's sarcophagus, she released one of her mother's monsters into Madison Square Garden. That action put hundreds of innocent people's lives in danger, something that Warda showed little to no remorse about. Luckily, an ancient Iron Fist was there to take it out. Warda has no problem being vicious and cruel in order to get the things she wants, a trait she most certainly learned from Shikla. Just like the original Deadpool, Warda is a skilled fighter and an expert in weaponry. She's a follower of Wade's philosophy of always having the biggest gun. Her skill and affinity for firearms practically allowed her and her gang to dominate New York with little worry from the NYPD. Warda's main form of transportation is a robotic dragon that she flies around the city on, aptly called Dragon. Dragon seems to be an homage to her mother, who had her own pet dragon named Bug. Warda's dragon is much larger and seemingly smarter than Bug, since it's able to communicate and follow complex commands. It's also likely that Warda doesn't treat her robot dragon in the best way. Anytime the two of them are in a firefight and things are looking grim, Dragon always begs Warda to not revive him if he dies. Just like Wade, Warda seems to have a hard time keeping friends. Despite being unable to find her mother, Warda has had a pretty successful time as the new Deadpool of 2099. She runs a powerful gang that's strong enough to fight off the NYPD, and she can torture her father whenever she wants. Things were nearly perfect. At least until another person came to challenge her for the title of Deadpool. Ellie Preston. Warda Wilson isn't the only illegitimate child of Deadpool. Considering how many romances Wade has had and the number of women he's been with, it's surprising that only 2 kids are running around. Wade's other child is a woman named Ellie Preston, and she also wants to be the new Deadpool of 2099. Ellie Preston originally started off as Eleanor Camacho. Her mother, Carmelita Camacho, first met Wade when he was hired to bring her father's murderer to justice. This was back when Wade was temporarily a part of the Heroes for Hire. Shortly after being hired, both Deadpool and Carmelita were kidnapped by the villain responsible for her father's death, White Man. While in the White Man's lair, Carmelita believed that she was going to die soon and wanted to spend her last moments making love. Wade was more than happy to comply. Their lovemaking was interrupted when the Heroes for Hire came to save them. Although their time together was cut short, it was still enough for Carmelita to get pregnant. Without Deadpool's knowledge, Carmelita gave birth to their daughter and raised her on her own. Years later, the two of them were kidnapped by one of Deadpool's villains, the Butler. Wade learned about Carmelita and Eleanor and attempted to save them. But it was too late. Carmelita was dead, and Eleanor was nowhere to be found. Later on, a friend of Deadpool's and an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., Ellie Preston, discovered that Eleanor was alive. By working together, Preston and Deadpool managed to find Eleanor and save her from the people that had taken her. From that point on, Eleanor was adopted by the Preston family and became Ellie Preston. Life was good for Ellie and her foster family for a while, until Deadpool killed her foster mom. It's a bit of a long and complicated story, but the gist of it is this. During the Secret Empire storyline, it was revealed that Captain America was secretly a Hydra sleeper agent. This was discovered by Phil Coulson, an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. and a close friend of Preston's. Under the orders of Captain America, Deadpool assassinated Agent Coulson. When Preston found out about this, she attempted to kill Wade, but was instead blown up by one of his grenades. Now, technically, Wade didn't kill Agent Preston. In reality, she was killed years ago by a zombified George Washington, but it had her consciousness placed inside Deadpool's mind and then later into a robot clone of her body. Deadpool comics are a crazy place. When Preston was blown up by Deadpool's grenade, she was only deactivated and then dismantled. Wade did kind of fix things by eventually rebuilding Preston. That fact did not make the rest of the Preston family any less angry with him. While they thought that Emily Preston was dead, Deadpool kidnapped his daughter for a time and then neglected her. Ellie eventually ran away and made her way back to the Prestons, all of whom now hated Deadpool. In the year 2099, though, it seems that Ellie has forgiven Wade because she has come to rescue him from Warda. Equipped with her own high-tech Deadpool suit, Ellie has performed a series of strategic attacks on Warda's gang and freed Wade from his prison. Wade wasn't the only person that Warda had captured. Ellie had also retrieved a hidden holodrive from one of Wade's old storehouses. The holodrive contained the digitized consciousness of Ellie's foster mom, Emily Preston. After many years of being separated, the dysfunctional family was finally back together. Although Ellie seems to have forgiven Wade for all the trauma he's caused her, she remains emotionally distant from him. She refuses to call him dad and is generally mistrustful of him. Despite this, Ellie still thinks of the title of Deadpool as something that is precious and should be respected. She believes that her half-sister Warda has stained the reputation of Deadpool, and she's come to take the name back. Ellie is both similar to Warda and radically different at the same time. Both women have adopted their father's chaotic sense of humor and skill at violence. Ellie's not afraid to get her hands dirty, but she does operate under a no-kill rule, something that neither Warda nor Wade ever followed. While fighting through the streets of New York with Warda, Ellie always made sure to protect civilians from the crossfire. If Warda is the villain version of Deadpool and Wade is the anti-hero version, then Ellie is definitely the hero of the trio. Ellie's rescue of her father is the thing that kicks off the Deadpool 2099 story. Her reappearance caused Wade to remember a lot of the things that he had forgotten. One of those memories that resurfaced was her powers. Initially, both Wade and Warda think that Ellie doesn't have any superpowers. Unlike Warda, Ellie didn't inherit Wade's healing factor. In fact, when she first takes off her mask, we see that she has collected many different scars over the years. This put her at a major disadvantage when fighting Warda, who did manage to kill her. Ellie was fatally stabbed with a sword and then horrifically burned alive with liquid napalm in front of Wade. While Ellie's charred corpse lies on the ground, we finally get to see her powers in action. Ellie is a mutant with the power of resurrective immortality. She doesn't heal from wounds like Wade. Instead, her body resurrects itself when she's killed. Ellie reemerges from her corpse in the body of a teenager who is the same age as when her powers first manifested. This new body also keeps all her memories from the past. Ellie's mutant power makes her immune from death in every way possible, including old age. She is a perfect immortal, unlike Wade, who has been permanently killed in the past. This new information makes Warda extremely angry, as she realizes that she'll be stuck with her older half-sister forever. The Wilson family reunited. The war between Wade's daughters is a messy one. The fact that either child can't be permanently killed makes it even more complicated. It doesn't seem like there will be a winner anytime soon. That is, until Wade comes up with a solution. He explains why he decided to seal Shikla even though he loved her. Wade was saving her from herself. She had attempted to take over the surface world, and if he didn't interfere, the heroes of Earth were going to wipe her out like they did to the Skrulls. Even after hearing this revelation, Warda is still hesitant to let go of her grudge. Wade and Ellie resort to their final plan. Wade takes the hollow drive containing Ellie Preston's consciousness and uploads it to Warda's mind. Just like how Preston was in Wade's mind decades ago, she's now in the mind of his daughter. Preston tells Warda that she's going to teach her how to let go of her anger toward Wade like she did. Preston basically becomes Warda's live-in therapist. This arrangement temporarily dissuades Warda from continuing her mayhem, and Wade promises to tell her about her mother soon. Warda agrees to give up the title of Deadpool to Ellie, but Wade suggests that they both be Deadpool. Things are still tense between the family, but at least the day was saved. Later on, while Ellie and Wade are having dinner, he reveals that he finally remembered where he put Shikla's sarcophagus. After Wade and other heroes beat Shikla and sealed her away, he used Pym particles to shrink her coffin down. He then put the coffin in his heart, the safest place in the world. When Wade finishes his story, he tells Ellie that Shikla was the one bullet that he couldn't dodge. We get to see how the Deadpool family is doing briefly in Despicable Deadpool number 300. It seems that Wade, Warda, and Ellie have all managed to put aside their differences and are working together as a family. For better or worse, the year 2099 has 3 Deadpools running around New York, and they're all kicking ass together into the future. And that's it for Deadpool 2099. Which Deadpool do you think is the best? Let us know in the comments. Thank you for watching to the end. Until next time, keep that plot armor on you. I'm Alexandra Macedo. Have a great day. Goodbye.